So I am going to get out of the way. And I just want to say I am so very grateful that you have joined the vault. We have 7 powerful products for those of you guys who are brand new. 7 powerful products that fit inside of 2 memberships. And Jason lives inside of the vault. I told you guys we have about 21 educators, inspirational speakers, personal development coaches. We have all of those things inside the vault. It's where you're really going to grow. So I'm going to get out of the way. They hear me enough. So I just want to say thank you so much, Jason, for joining this call. How are you today? I always have to choose my words carefully because Jason makes me a better me, right? You know how somebody, you just know you got to like I got to like fix my collar. I got to get myself together, but not in a bad way. Like I really, truly am grateful for this gentleman because my words have meaning. And I have to be intentional when I'm talking to him, very much like when I spoke to my father. You had to talk with some sense, or he wasn't going to
Heck of a
spend too.
comparison right there.
So I'm going to get out of the way and I'm going to not spotlight myself. And I am going to pass the mic to you. One second. Let me make
Do me a
myself.
favor. Do me a favor. Can you keep it like this? Because otherwise, I won't be able to see anybody. So at least if I see you, I can have a voice. I mean, a face. Are you okay with that?
I'm perfectly fine with that.
All right.
Let me.
All right. And then while you're doing that, I want to give a shout out to Romy Rome for spelling my name right. He spelled it wrong the first time, but he came back and got the wine there. I appreciate that.
And listen, he's the one who has the bracelet
I
on.
know. I know.
Oh, for 5 years, he
Yeah.
hasn't taken your bracelet off.
Yeah,
Oh
we're
my.
gonna make sure we get him. And I'm gonna get you another one. It's time to re up. I got you. I got you.
Perfect.
Um,
Well,
can I share my screen from here? I can share my screen. There's a little bit of sound, so I'll do that. So you should be able to see my screen now. Yes.
absolutely. Yes, I can.
All right. Perfect. Um, I'm gonna take over. Are you still going? You've been saying you're gonna get out the way. You out the way? Can I go?
I'm out of the way.
All right. All right, really quick. First off, thank you. Thank you for always the opportunity to be able to be in your space, the space, and this space. And one of the things, even piggybacking on what you just finished with, how I show up for you creates a space that allows you to be intentional with your words. It, that is who I am. That is who I am. I am super intentional about my words. I do these things that are actually called word challenges. You will hear some of those in play right now. And the word challenges is exactly that. And that's one. It's a challenge. It's not a change. So you know this firsthand, Megan, just from our conversations. I could care less what words one person uses or a person uses. My challenge may be coming from a place of, have you thought about that in a different way? Have you thought about, even if the words that we use as maybe as synonyms, do they really mean the same thing? So it's literally a challenge of thinking, a challenge of feeling, a challenge of making sure that I'm saying exactly what I want to say, if that makes sense. So the name of my business, newly rebranded, it was very similar to this, but decided to take a word out. It used to be Athletes on Purpose, and we decided as a business, my team and I decided to take the on out and just call it Athletes Purpose. And for me, it's really intentional. It's a lot of different things. As Megan was giving the introduction of me, I am an athlete. I am a basketball player since as early as I can pick up a basketball, 2, 3 years old. Played in middle school, high school, played in college, which is where Megan and I met, played professionally for 13 years all over the world. And literally, I'm sitting in an office now at 48 years old. I decided I wanted to be a college coach. And so I'm an assistant coach at Cal State Fullerton. You are literally in the office with me right now. But the idea behind Athletes Purpose is, yes, to have some background of me and my story, but to also play into that purpose piece, that intentionality piece. Again, I could care less what people do. I'm more concerned about, do you know why you do what you do? And so that'll be, if you're taking notes, that'll be something that I'll throw in. Again, it's not about what you do. It's about understanding why you do what you do. And that why even if someone else doesn't understand it, from my experience, I've come to realize that even when people don't understand it, it can make sense. I live in a world, I have no desire to live in a world where everybody agrees and everybody thinks the same. I want there to be difference. I want there to be diversity in thought and action and how we move. But again, even in that lack of understanding, I don't understand that, but that makes sense. And so that's the personality or the purpose piece of it. And then our tagline is on your mind and elevate your game. Not basketball, soccer, football, baseball, whatever sport someone may be thinking of. There are people on here that could care less about sports, even don't like sports. I'm cool with that. I'm not talking about a game, I'm talking about the game of life. So, owning our mind is the first step to elevating your game. So, as I move through these, all right, a little bit of pregame. I will talk in athlete talk, but again, it's going to always connect back. So, our pregame question. And Megan, I'm gonna use you as a guinea pig for this if you're okay.
I am
What's your
okay with
favorite?
it.
What's your favorite season? And
I
for
would
everybody
say
else, as Megan is talking, you can throw those into the chat, but dig into our conversation. Go ahead.
I would say that my favorite season is summer.
Summer. All right, tell me more
Yep.
about that. What is it about summer that attracts you?
I mean, I love to walk outside and I know the heat is going to hit me in the face. Some of the other seasons, you might go outside and it's a little chilly and then it warms up. I need it to be warm when I go outside.
Okay. And that heat, what is like on your feet, on your face, like where did that start? How old were you when you kind of not literally, but like where what tell me a story about that heat hitting your face or your feet.
Well, in the summertime, I mean, Reagan and I, when we were little, we always rode our bikes all over the place. So our parents were still working, but we lived in a small town. So by the time we got up and it was warm, we didn't have to worry about, oh, is it going to be chilly? Do we need to take a jacket? And Reagan and I, from the time we were probably 9 years old, would be on our bikes and we would be gone for the whole day until my mom got home at like 5 o'clock. I can't even believe our parents let us just be gone from 10
Yeah,
o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock when we got home. But we were just everywhere in the summertime.
got you. And so for the sake of time, because I could go on, but here's the anchor to this question. I simply asked you what your favorite season was, and now all of a sudden I know about if I didn't know who Reagan was, I know who Reagan is, obviously your twin. But if I didn't know who Reagan was, I now know that not only is summer your favorite season, but it's your favorite season because you love the heat on your face and on your feet. You don't like to walk out and have the day have to warm up or cool down. I also now know that when you were little, 9 years old, you and your twin sister used to ride bikes all day because your parents were at work. And you're thinking to yourself now, as an adult woman, you don't even know how are we outside all of that time. I learned all of that about you by simply asking, what's your favorite season?
Mm.
And all I did was continue to ask the first question. You said summer. I said, tell me more. Then you started talking about the heat on your face and on your feet. And then I said, tell me a story about that. And just in asking those simple little questions, I got to know more about you. And so this is a connection question, which is also a phrase that I use for these connection questions. Many times, if we're thinking about the people that we interact with, we very rarely get to a point where we're really having connection conversations. We have surface conversations like, what do you do? Or even if you would have said, what's your favorite season? And you would have said summer. And if my favorite season is winter, I'm very easy. We ain't alike. You like summer, I like winter, and left it at that. But it's this opportunity to connect. And ladies and gentlemen that are on the call, I implore you to connect with people in a way that is different than the surface level. And it doesn't have to be, I'm telling you, my deepest, darkest secrets. What's your favorite season? Tell me more about that. Tell me a quick story about that. And even if my favorite summer or my favorite season is winter, I now know more about Megan that allows me to be able to connect on a different level. So, employ you to go have that conversation. Ask somebody what their favorite season is. All right. Next question is an ignite question. Ignite questions is the question that's going to ignite our conversation right now. It is a reflection question, meaning, and Megan, you know this. I don't necessarily use the word rhetorical question. I refer to it as a reflection question, meaning I don't necessarily need to know the answer, but it's important that you know the answer. And this is going to be simple, but I can only presume that some of you haven't thought about yourselves in this way before. So the question is, when it comes to shifting something in my life, anything, how do you typically show up? A, you decide, commit, and go to it immediately or get to it immediately. B, you give yourself a start date and commit to that. C, I know I want to do something different, but I'm more committed to comfort. I'm gonna chill right here. D, I typically don't shift things in my life. Or E, I'm none of the above. I would love, you don't have to throw this into a chat. This is for you to discuss, and I'll go into a little bit of detail as we're going through this. Megan, again, I'm gonna put you on the spot as we go through this.
Okay.
I decide, commit, and get to it immediately. I've decided that I'm going to make a shift in my life, whatever that shift may be. I'm doing it right now. B, I give myself a start date. Oh, I'm going to start on Monday. I'm going to start on the first of the month, or I'm going to start on the first of the year. I'm going to give myself a date. I'm going to commit to it. I know that I want to do something different, but I'm really more committed to comfort. I want to start working out, but man, laying in my bed is way more comfortable. I typically don't make shifts in my life. I don't look at my life like that, or I'm none of the above. Megan, on the spot. A,
On
B,
the
C, or
spot, I would have to say I would have to say A, business wise. Other things in my life, not so much.
D. Interesting. Tell me a little bit more about that. Not so business wise, when it's done, it's done. I'm ready to do it. But then other areas of your life, give me a letter on what some of those other areas may look like. Or yeah, B,
Um,
C, D, or E.
yeah, so those other areas are going, um, I can be B in a lot of areas, like getting ready to get ready. Like I had
Yep.
4 suitcases and 2 bags in my car from the trip, and I'm like, I ain't really trying to go out there, but I'll do it in just a couple hours, and then it turned into a couple days.
Yep.
But yeah, that's kind of how
Love
I
it.
am with certain things. I do give myself a start date, and I will commit to it, but I typically don't just jump right into it unless it's business, and then I'm all gas, no brakes.
Yep. So here's what I hear. You have this level of commitment and you can get right to it. And there's certain times where you prioritize for this sake, we're going to call it comfort. And let me say this right now with that word, specifically comfort and anything in general, but specifically comfort. Comfort's not bad. There's all of these cliches and sayings going around, get out your comfort zone, and that's what's wrong. And nothing great happens in your comfort zone. Nonsense. Nonsense. If you break it down literally, most people want to be comfortable. And comfort is okay. My challenge, rather than getting out of your comfort zone, and you've heard this before, Megan, I'm not challenging people to get out of their comfort zone. I'm challenging people to expand their comfort zone. If comfort is ultimately where I want to be, let's just expand those places that I'm comfortable. If I wasn't comfortable public speaking, the more that I expand my comfort zone, the more I become more comfortable in public speaking. Like it's comfort isn't this bad thing. And so I hear that you have this level of commitment and there's different priorities that allow you to be able to say whether I'm going to do it now or whether I'm going to set a start date and do it. None of those are right, wrong, good, or bad either. Here's where I would go. If I'm making a decision, it's I've learned about myself, and this is what all of this is, and you'll see this here in a couple slides. All of this points me back into having closer relationship with myself, more connected relationship with myself. It's always going to come back to me. And anything I do is never right, wrong, good, or bad until I give it those words. So whether or not you commit to
Yeah.
it or whether or not you set a date to it, that's fine. But for me, Jason Wells, I've learned that if I'm making a decision to make a shift in my life, I ask myself 3 questions. Can I do it? The answer is yes. Will I do it? The answer is yes. When will I do it? The answer is now. I want to start working out. Can I do it? Yes. Will I do it? Yes. When will I do it? Right now. And I'll drop down and I'll do 2 push ups. Two, just two. Just two. One of my phrases is simplify it to silly. A lot of times when it comes to it, especially making shifts in our lives or new commitments in our lives, we commit to these unrealistic things. I'm gonna start going to the gym every day, and I ain't been to the gym in 10 years. Well, let's not go every day. Let's just go once and then figure out what that looks like. Let's go once and do that, and then I commit to going again. I'm gonna go to the gym for 3 hours. Let's not do that. Hey, that first day, I might walk into the gym and walk back out.
Yeah.
Because I want like simplify it to silly. Because when you simplify it, when I simplify it to silly, like why would I not do that? If I'm gonna go in the gym and say all I'm gonna do is walk in and walk back out, now I have absolutely no reason to do that. If I say I want to start working out, do one push up right now, I simplified to silly. If I want to say I want to start reading, read one sentence, simplify to silly, and then grow from there. A lot of times we set ourselves up for failure because our expectations to our new commitments, they outweigh where we're at right now. I got to be where I'm at. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. All right. So
Okay,
again,
so I'm walking into the gym and I'm walking out.
I mean, yeah, for that first day.
I, yeah,
And
I've
then
done
you
it.
went
I've
on that,
watched a
and
workout
then
video.
when you walk back out and you get in your car, say tomorrow or the next time I go, I'm gonna walk in and I'm gonna jump on one machine and I'm gonna do that one machine for 10 reps and
Yep.
walk out. And then the next day I go back, I'm gonna do two machines and I'm gonna do it for 10, like whatever it is. But let's grow into it. There's these cliches of you gotta crawl before you walk or you gotta walk before you run. But a lot of us, when it comes to making new commitments and shifting things in our lives, we want to start off running.
Right.
And then we get upset because we aren't in a place for that commitment yet. So again, these are all reflections. We talked about that. I'll go through this rather quickly. All right, so now give me 60 seconds, literally. I am going to my watch. This is a grounding point. So I'm going to ask everybody, if you're driving, keep driving. But if you're in a place where you can stop and literally give yourself 60 seconds, here's going to be our prompt. And I'm getting this off of my watch. I'm cheating right here. We're going to take a minute to pause. I want you to become very aware of the things that you see, hear, and feel right now in your present area. Be aware of the things that you see, hear, and feel, and focus your attention there. And we are going to go right now. You can close your eyes, you can do whatever, just breathe. Focus on the things that you see, feel, and hear. Sixty seconds. I'm sure for some of you that felt like 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm also sure for some of you that felt like, man, that went over, that was quick. Um, I could care less what you see. I could care less what you heard. I could care less what you thought about. Here's the idea, the anchor. You'll hear me say that a lot. The anchor behind this grounding exercise. I'm very big on grounding. I'm very big on centering. I'm very big on rooting is a word that I'll use. Getting connected to me. All of these are invitations to get connected with you. If we think about what just happened in those 60 seconds, it was 60 seconds of silence. And as you think about some of the things that you've heard about silence, think about the phrases that we use: awkward silence, uncomfortable silence. Well, man, that's giving silence a bad rap, like awkward and uncomfortable. And here's what I've come to learn about silence and why it's gotten that. Silence does one of two things, if not both. Silence automatically makes you think and it automatically makes you feel. When it's quiet, when it's silent, I am forced to think and I am forced to feel. And most people don't want to be in those places, which is why they're awkward and uncomfortable.
Mm.
I will challenge the silence. I have a phrase that I use with my team, with the people that I work with. We're going to sit in silence. We are going to intentionally sit in silence. I have a soon next week, my sons will be 18 and 15. When I ask them questions, we will sit in that silence because I want you to be in a place where you think and you feel. Because in those places, I get to now get more connected to me. What am I thinking about right here? What am I feeling right here? My 15-year-old, what you doing? Nothing. Well, that's what you're thinking about. Nothing. That's impossible. You're thinking about something. Even if you're thinking about nothing, you're thinking about, dang, I ain't thinking about nothing.
Right.
But it's that invitation. Everything is going to be this invitation to get more closely connected to yourself. We talk about authenticity. Authenticity. I feel like our number one goal in life, how I show up in every situation, whether it's a one-on-one or whether it's over 300 people on a Zoom call, whether it's 13 of my guys on a basketball team, my number one goal in life is to show up as authentically myself as I can and create a space that allows somebody, something, people to be able to see my most authentic version, which is an invitation for them to be their most authentic version. That's my goal in life. And I can only be my most authentic self if I'm connected to myself. I can't be my most authentic self if I'm living in the world's perception of who they think I should be because I'm a 6'8" basketball player. Yes, I'm a 6'8" guy who plays basketball, but I'm connected to myself. So when I show up, you see versions of me that may throw off whatever your impression of basketball players may be, but that only comes from my connection to myself and my authenticity in that. Making sense?
Yes.
All right. Everything we go through right now will be tools in your toolbox. Literally tools in your toolbox. As I'm talking to the young men that I coached, some of the tools that are in their toolbox, tools like communication, tools like self-awareness, tools like listening. Communication goes both ways. Communication is a two-way thing. People hear communication and they think it's me talking. Communication is also me listening. I'm really, really big on that. Being connected to yourself. These things matter. Like the same way we talk to our guys about talking on the court is the same way that we talk to them about their girlfriends and their ladies. Hey man, she's gonna tell you, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. So cool. You being able to talk on help defense is also creating a tool in your toolbox for you to be able to talk in your romantic relationship. It matters. It matters. And actually having those little stories and those little things where they can visualize what's going on, they allow them to be able to see them in different ways. So again, all of these are tools in your toolbox. The things that we'll focus on most today over this next little bit of time, awareness and accountability. We've already done it. The question of what's your favorite season, the questions of how you show up when it's time to make a decision or a commitment. Those are all awareness things. Awareness is a tool. And now once I have that awareness, now I get to live in this world of accountability. So already I've talked about authenticity. Now we're talking about awareness and accountability. These are words that we hear, but these are words that you can have your own individual perception based on your experience of where those show up. For me, everything is awareness. Again, it goes back to the connection of myself. How well do I know myself? How well do I know myself? How connected am I to me for me to be able to show up in a space as authentically me? And then that accountability piece. Megan, again, you've heard this, and I just want to throw this out, and we'll have plenty of time to have more conversation about this. I realize I'm zooming through this, but one of my phrases that I use, the common cliche is hold somebody accountable. I don't want to hold somebody accountable because ultimately, through my experience, if I'm holding you accountable, I'm holding you accountable to what I want for you. Our phrase is not holding someone accountable, but leading someone to accountability.
Mm.
Leading someone to accountability, because now if I'm leading you to accountability, two things show up. Number one, I have to know you well enough to know what it is you want. That goes back to the relationship. What's our relationship? Do I know you well enough to know what it is you want to be able to lead you to the accountability of, hey, one of our guys says he wants to be a pro. Okay, cool. So now I don't go and, hey man, did you get your shots up today? If you don't get your shots up, you're never going to be a pro. That to me feels like holding you accountable, as opposed to, hey man, if you didn't get your shots up, that's going to make it more difficult for you to be a pro. There's a difference in that. There's a difference in that. I know him well enough to know what it is he wants, and I can lead him to the accountability of, hey, what you're doing is going to make it more difficult for you to get there. The other piece of leading you to accountability is I better be on my deal doing what I'm supposed to be doing if I'm going to lead you to accountability.
Right.
Always comes back to me. It's always going to come back to you, Megan, you, Rome. It's always going to come back to you. And the quicker that you realize that this responsibility and accountability of it always coming back on me is not from a place of blame, it's not from a place of shame, it's not from a place of guilt, and it's not from a place of even credit. It's simply acknowledging a role that I played in whatever's happening and how I get to move forward through it. Not even necessarily forward, how I get to move through it. Jay Wells, what you mean? I was sexually assaulted when I was 9 years old. What you mean I got a role in that? I'm not saying you had a role in that particular event, but you do have a role in, if it happened when you were 9 and you're 39 now, how you've handled that over the past 30 years, that's on you because the event happened. So again, that accountability and that responsibility is not a blame, shame, guilt, or credit. Megan, you know I don't give advice. I hate giving advice. I hate when people even use that term. I don't give advice because I would not feel right if I gave you advice, it worked out well, and you gave me credit for that. I don't want that responsibility. You did that. You did that. So for today, everything's going to point back, not even for today, all of this is going to point back to awareness and accountability. This is the overarching question. Who are you? Again, a reflection question. A question that you get asked a lot. I'm sure we get asked a lot. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? As Megan was talking about purpose, and as we talk about even athletes' purpose, many people in this space are often saying you need to find your purpose. Once you find your purpose, you'll never work a day in your life. Cool, find your purpose, find your purpose. Well, in my own personal experience, I've learned that before I found my why, I needed to find my who. Mm. Most people are challenged with that question of finding your purpose because they hear that and they start thinking that it's an external journey. Who you are, discovering, uncovering is actually the word that I use. Uncovering who you are is not an external journey, it's an internal journey. So before I know why I am, I need to know who I am. And so I treat this like a clock. If I'm going 12 o'clock would be who I am. 3 o'clock would be why I am. Now that I know who I am, I can talk about that, why I am. 6 o'clock is how I am. Those are my individual personality traits. For me, simplicity is how I am. Optimism is how I am. Connection is how I am. Challenging the status quo, that's how I am. Those are the ways how I show up. So now I know who I am, why I am, and how I am. By the time I get to 9 o'clock, that's what I am. Those become irrelevant. It doesn't matter whether I'm a basketball coach. It doesn't matter whether I'm a basketball player. It doesn't matter whether I'm speaking to the Vibe community or whether I'm speaking to one of our student managers. What becomes irrelevant? Because I know who I am, why I am, and how I am, the what's become irrelevant. All right, so this is a reflection question. As we go through this whole deal, I know this was part of the advertising and the marketing of this call tonight was spring cleaning. So right now, for the next, I'm gonna make this real simple. I'm gonna be very respectful of time. I might go 5 minutes over, but for the next 25 minutes, we're gonna discuss creating space and shifting into what I refer to as a legacy mindset. Legacy mindset, legacy mindset. What's here after I'm no longer here physically? What's here after I'm no longer here? That to me is a legacy. And so I love to refer to it as a legacy mindset. While I'm still here, I'm moving in its way. That's creating a space for when I'm no longer here, I'm still living. I was not privy to the privilege of being around physically on earth when Dr. Martin Luther King was around and alive. However, almost 60 years after his passing physically, his legacy continues to live on. And it started in his legacy mindset of how he lived the years of his life. And so as we go through this, again, spring cleaning, we're not even 7 days outside of the first day of spring. Happy birthday to Amaya. On the first day of spring. All right. And so here's our first challenge. We don't want to do spring cleaning. We want to do spring clearing. We want to do spring clearing. So we're Xing out that N and changing it to an R. Not spring cleaning, but spring clearing. And I will speak through exactly what that means. For me, first thing I want to do is I want to clear the energy. I want to be in a space where my energy, my vibe, see what I did right there, is is pointed into a direction of who I want to be and where I want to go. That comes from an energetic space. Our definition is not up here right now because I erased my board after the season, but we define what energy is on our team. Our definition for energy is the contribution that I bring to the space. Emphasis on the word contribution. Because we tell our guys either you're contributing to the space or you're contaminating the space, one or the other. There is no in between. So I want to make sure that the contribution that I bring to the space is worthy of me being here. Every space I walk into, I want to be a contributor to that space. I don't ever want to be contaminating the space. If you're not doing anything, you're probably contaminating. So really being intentional about clearing my energy. Where's my mind? One of the activities that I do with our guys, we call it a mind, body, and soul check-in, and we'll do that at least once a week. Check in with your mind. Where is it? And you have to describe it in 1 or 2 words. My mind is scattered. My body feels good. My soul feels peaceful. You can go on and explain those things, but having that is a real clear of the clarity. And so I want to clear the energy to create space, but I also want to clear the energy to create clarity. Many times we don't sit down and give ourselves enough time to be able to say, my mind feels scattered right now. We may feel it, but to actually verbalize it, it gives it power. For me to be able to say, hey, I've been getting my workouts in pretty consistently. My body feels good. For me to be able to say, hey, I'm at a place right now, my soul feels really calm in what's going on. Verbalizing those things, expressing those things. If you can do it with somebody else, that's great. But most important is for me to be doing it to myself. It's a really, really, really simple exercise. One of the ways that I do it with the guys is we may not even use the words. I'll tap into their word. I'm into their world. We may use emojis. Red heart, I feel great. Blue heart, I'm a little bit challenged. Broken heart, I'm really struggling right now. But creating that space for those guys to be able to verbalize and get out what they're going through and what they're feeling, that's putting us in a space where we're clearing energy. I want to clear that energy within myself. This is one of the ways. This is the way that I've been talking about. First way I want to clear energy is within myself. Getting aligned. Aligned is a very, very, very important word because I want to be aligned with, I said it earlier, who I want to be and where I want to go. That's the alignment. That's how I clear myself. And I know I got the chakras over here. Some people I'm sure are familiar. Some people may not be. If you're not, go do a little bit of practice once we get out of here. It is a way for you to consciously be aligned with yourself. Megan, I'm gonna pause right here. You know, I hate talking a lot, but I just with this part, any questions to ask for you, anything you want me to dig a little bit deeper into, just talking about the clearing of that space or the clearing of the energy.
I don't want to jump ahead. So I don't know if, sometimes people are like the how. I talked to you about my favorite book, Eat, Pray, Love, and where she couldn't like quiet her mind enough to clear the energy. I know that you had given me certain things that I had given to the team. And now we vibe on a whole different level on meditation and, my hypnosis therapy for sleeping, where I get perfect sleep. My Abraham Hicks, I told them I had received those tools from you, and it literally changed my life. They would not be on this call, nor would I, had I not learned how to clear my energy. So,
Sure.
can you give a couple examples of, I know meditation, and are there certain things that people can do, running, whatever it is that they like to do to clear that energy?
Yeah,
that's
and
not, that's not you know, well, harmful, but I know you're gonna say, like, who gets to decide that?
yeah.
I know you well enough, right? I don't
um,
get to
it
judge and tell somebody
it's
what to
going to
do.
boil down to what is it for you. That's the reason I'm asking these reflection questions. Again, it's going to always come back to you without blame, shame, guilt, or credit. It's going. I don't care what you do. For me, I'm an early riser. I wake up, my alarm goes off at 4:30, and I beat my alarm most mornings. But I wake up at 4:30 because from 4:30 to 8 o'clock, I call it my power hour in my prime time. I love the fact that you call this a power hour, but in my prime time for me means two different things. Number one, it's priming my day. So I grew up in the hood on the east side of Cleveland, and I remember seeing those cars where before the paint job they had that gray primer on it. I had to prime the car to prepare for to get ready to be painted. So I'm priming my day. I'm getting my day prepared, and then the other part of prime time is premium. This is the premium time of my day. So from 4:30 to 8 o'clock in the morning, that's when I do the stuff that most people say they don't have time to do. It's when I work out, it's when I read, it's when I journal, it's when I meditate, it's when I get connected to myself. So now at 8 o'clock, after I shower, after when my day starts, when I come into this office and the garbage of the day happens in whatever form it may happen in on that day, I'm already primed up. I'm armored up with the things that have poured into myself that allow me now. The stuff for the day is hitting my armor, not hitting me.
Mm,
I don't
yeah.
care whether you wake up early. I'm not one of those people that if you don't wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, then you're wait. I don't care what time you wake up. My grandma used to tell me, "Don't tell me what you did. Tell me what you got done." Right? You could wake up at 5 in the morning. You can go to bed at 5 in the morning. A lion is only up for 4 hours out of the day. It'll be really easy to look at him and say, "Oh man, he lazy," but I bet you don't want to see him during those 4 hours though. Right? So again, I could care less what somebody does. This is an opportunity for you to get connected with you. Maybe it is running. I'm pointing here because my assistant coach is two offices down, and he is a he runs, and I'm talking about he runs at a pace and at a distance that I can only envy. And you ain't never got to ask me to run nowhere ever. I ran for a living, but his running is his thing. Just because it's his thing doesn't mean it has to be my thing. And so again, it goes back to this invitation to you. What is it for you? It may be reading. It may be meditation. I know I'll hit this and then I'll leave for this part. I know a lot of people have challenges with meditation. I got connected to meditation by doing two things. I heard a guy one time, man, I can't calm my mind. I can't calm my mind. And so he stopped calling it meditation and he started calling it thinkitation. That for him, that word challenge for him allowed him to get into a space to say, well, I'm not going to quiet my thoughts. And actually, that's biologically impossible. You're never going to quiet your thoughts. And the other thing for me that got me connected to meditation was when I first heard simplify it and just focus on your breath. That's what I did with our watch, with my watch when I grounded. All I did was literally hit the app on my watch and hit the reflect button and get connected to my breath. If I would have hit the breathe button, my Apple Watch even gives a cadence of a breath. Like it vibrates on an inhale and gets quiet on an exhale. When I focus on my breath, I find that I lose track of some of the thoughts that I have because now I'm focused on my breath. So those are really simple things. And again, as we get deeper into this, we'll have more discussions. All right. But again, clearing my energy. First thing I want to do is clear the energy within myself. This is me. Second thing, I want to clear the energy within my finances. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I said it. I said it. I said it. I said it. I want to clear the energy within my finances. I want to get to a place where, like, we use this phrase of financial freedom. I've associated a dollar amount with my finances, but it actually has nothing to do with the dollar amount. It has everything to do with the impact. I want to clear the energy within my finances. I want to stop looking at my finances as this hindering thing, as this obstacle, as this challenge, as this problem. I want to start looking at my finances as this open space of creativity creativity for me to be able to get as innovative as I can possibly be. I am a powerful source and I am going to act like that. And because I am a powerful source and I act like that, my finances now reflect that. I want to clear that energy though. I was raised with the mentality of money don't grow on trees. So if I'm living by that motto, I'm living scarce. I gotta hold on to this little bit that I got because it don't grow on trees. I was raised by the motto of money is the root of all evil. Well, as I've now gotten older and created my own experiences, I agree with that. If the root is evil, my roots aren't evil. My roots are peace, love, and joy. So for me, the financial fruit of my roots of peace, love, and joy are only going to create more peace, love, and joy. But I want to get into a place where I'm clearing the energy within my finances. As a 48-year-old man, I'm now raising my sons and talking to the people that I speak to in a space where, hey man, let's clear this. Let's get rid of those things that you may have been introduced to as a younger person. Let's clear that space. Money isn't the root of all evil because my root isn't evil. Actually, you know what? Money does grow on trees because money is made out of paper and paper is made out of trees. So yeah, and there's a lot of trees in the world. So let's get some of that. That
Right.
all comes from a place of clearing the energy with my finances. Last one, and then I'm gonna take a pause. I want to clear the energy within my relationships. You happen to see these two awesome young men, one of which no longer has long hair. This was when they were here, right when I moved to California last year. And my youngest got a haircut since then, but these are my two boys. And I use them as relationships, but I'm talking all forms of relationship. Matter of fact, I want to even invite us back to a space where I want to clear the relationship with myself first. Cliche, we hear that all the time. Oh, the most important relationship is the one that you have with yourself. Cool. Well, what is that relationship? Have you forgiven yourself? Have you released some of the things that you've been carrying? Again, Megan, you'll hear this as we continue to move through this, but there's this phrase, and it's not my phrase, it's a phrase of self limiting beliefs. What are those self limiting beliefs? Beliefs that I'm not good enough, beliefs that I'm not young enough, I'm not old enough, I'm too tall, I'm too big, I'm too whatever. Those self limiting beliefs. I want to clear that energy within myself first. And once I clear that energy within myself, now I create a space that it allows me to clear energy in other forms of relationships, in my romantic relationships, in my relationships with my son, in my occupational relationships. Like relationship is everywhere. And me clearing that energy within myself allows me a space to where now I'm attracting instead of asking. I'm attracting instead of looking. I'm attracting
Can I,
instead of searching. Go ahead.
can I ask a quick
Yeah.
question? Can you give me one example of how you were able to, because you and I have talked before, we've known each other for 30 some odd years. I've been through a divorce before. You've been through a divorce. Like a lot of things that you showed me throughout the year or just exposed me to, I guess. I don't even know if that's the right word, but uh, it really
What's right?
helped me to be able to, forgive myself along the way. Um,
Yep.
can you give an example of how somebody could clear the energy within, you know, in relationships?
Yeah. I mean, just because I touched on it, I'll go back and I understand. I'm sure that there's somebody on here that has lived through what I'm about to talk about, and I touched on it a little bit before. Let's just say, for example, something terrible like being sexually assaulted when you were younger happened, and it happened when I was 8 or 9 years old. And now I'm 39 years old or 49 years old, and I've been carrying that for 30 something years, for 40 something years. An example of clearing the energy within myself is I was 9 years old. That person, whether it was an adult or whether it was somebody close to my age, that had actually nothing to do with me. That had everything to do with them.
Mm.
My responsibility now, going back to the awareness and the accountability, I got goosebumps, is
Yeah, me too.
for something that happened 30 years ago. Why would I, if that doesn't make me feel good? And again, this is something that you and I have talked about. I'm at that level of simplicity. Does it feel good? Does it not feel good? And I'm talking not surface level feel good, higher self feel good. Peace, love, and joy. Those are my feel goods. Does this bring me peace? No. Does carrying this event that happened 30 years ago bring me peace? No, it doesn't. Does it bring me joy? No, it doesn't. Does it bring me and put me in a loving place? No, it doesn't. Well, if it doesn't bring me any of these things that I call my roots, why would I continue to carry that? That's the steps of creating a clearing of the energy within myself. It is, I love the word release. It is truly a release. I use this example. I've got a couple of them right here. I've got these basketballs right here, and they're little basketballs, a blue one, a green one, an orange one. If I had 15 more basketballs in my hand, I got all of this stuff that I'm carrying. I'm a pretty athletic dude. If I've got 15 of these in my hand and somebody throws me another one, even though I'm athletic, I'm not able to catch it because I'm holding on to all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But the minute I drop them, okay, cool. So as we talk about blessings, if we're using that word, a lot of times we're unable to catch our blessings because we're holding on to the stuff that won't allow us to.
Hmm.
That's clearing energy within myself.
Yeah. Wow.
Super quick because I told you I was gonna go. Here's the deal. First part, if I'm talking spring cleaning, if I'm talking clearing the energy within myself, clearing the energy within my finances, clearing the energy within my relationships. First thing I got to do is I got to prune. I got to prune some stuff. I got to cut some of this old, dead, unserving stuff. Things that are no longer serving me must go. I will say that again. Things that are no longer serving me must go. And I say that from an airplane selfish type of way. Megan, what's airplane selfish?
Tell me, put your own mask on first.
Oh, every plane that you've ever been on, they tell you that. Hey, in case of emergency, in the unlikely event of an emergency, put your own mask on first. That's airplane selfish. And no one ever says that's a selfish thing to do. But it's put your own oxygen mask on first before your kids, before your parents, before whoever you're with, before somebody else. Put yours on because you not putting yours on, you do no service to anybody else. So from an airplane selfish type of way, I'm talking about serving. I'm talking about if these things are no longer serving, I need to cut them out. I need to remove them from the place. I was an adult when I've seen pruning happen before. But I was an adult when it really started to register. I remember exactly when it was. I was living in Atlanta in a condo and they were pruning the trees just outside my little patio. And I'm thinking to myself, why are they cutting the branches off? Not even realizing that the cutting off of those branches is actually going to allow that tree to be able to bloom and blossom in a different type of way, in a more prospering type of way. I got to get rid of this stuff. It doesn't make any sense for this healthy branch to be giving energy to this dead part of it. Get rid of that. Cut that off. So the first part of spring clearing is I need to prune. Getting rid of the stuff that's no longer serving me in my life. We could talk more in detail on what that is. Second part, now that I've pruned, I need to prepare my soil. I can't just plant plants, new seeds in bad soil, old soil. I got to prepare my soil. And I love this picture. And you'll see, if you haven't noticed already, my slides are very visual, not wordy. Because I want you to be able to see a picture and come up with what that looks like. But now that I've pruned off the things that are no longer serving me, now I get to prepare that soil because again, I can't plant new seeds in old soil. I can't plant new seeds in bad soil. So I have to prepare my soil for this planting, which obviously plays now into the third part. Now I get to plant. I've cut off the things that are no longer serving me. I've prepared my soil, and now I get to plant. And I love, 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 love this because you get to determine what you plant.
Mm.
I don't like eggplant. Why would I plant eggplant seeds if I don't like eggplant? I don't like squash. I like carrots. I like tomatoes. I like greens, particularly collard greens. If I don't like if I don't like mustard greens, I'm not planting mustard greens. So again, if I'm looking at my life as if it's a garden, A, I'm getting rid of the stuff that's no longer serving. B, I'm preparing my soil. And C, I'm planting, but I'm planting the things that are going to that I like, that point me into the direction of who I want to be and where I want to go. Really simple, not always easy. And I also don't need to be mad at somebody else that's planting something that I might not like in their garden. That's their garden. You get to do what you want to do. You might like squash. I want you to plant squash for as much as you want to. Hey, you might introduce me to squash in a way that I didn't even know about. Cool, but that's only going to happen if you plant your garden and I plant mine. I can't be concerned about what you plant in your garden. All I know is if I'm concerned about my garden and I've pruned and I've prepped and I've planted what I like in my garden, now we can start to, and you've done the same thing in yours, now we can start to get there. I've pruned, I've prepped, I've planted, now I got to nurture it. Got to take care of it. Got to water it. Sometimes that happens from God and rain. I live in California. Tony been telling me for a long time it never rained in Southern California. So if I have a garden in California, I'm gonna have to do some stuff outside of Mother Nature to nurture my garden. Take care of it. Make sure that the squirrels or the rabbits or the deer or whatever it may be aren't coming around eating it. I might have to protect it. I might have to box it off. I might have to raise it up. I might have to do certain things to take care of these seeds that I'm planting because they matter to me. It matters. In this nurturing phase, I'm cleaning out. I'm getting rid of maybe plants that didn't necessarily take, those weeds that might be growing. And I just want to say this really quickly. I love weeds and I love this analogy about the gardens and talking about weeds because weeds are simply plants. They're just plants that you don't necessarily want in your garden. But a weed is doing what a weed does. It's just growing. It don't know no better. You've just identified that I don't want that kind of plant in my garden. So what do? I get rid of it. Cool. That don't make the weed bad. Go grow wherever you want to grow. Just don't grow in my garden. All right. And then the last one. I've pruned, I've prepped, I've planted, I've nurtured. Now I get to harvest. And these things all happen in seasons. Again, another cliche, everything happens in seasons. Some of you may not be in harvest season yet. Some of you may be in harvest season and you realize that you're harvesting some things that you don't necessarily like. Now I need to go back. Man, if I'm harvesting these things, I probably planted something I shouldn't have planted. Mm. You get to go through and revisit your process. But if we're moving in this space where I'm constantly pruning, getting rid of the things that are no longer serving me, I'm constantly prepping in this place of preparing my soil for new things to be planted, third part, I'm planting the things that I enjoy and that I want that are pointing me in the direction of where I want to go and who I want to be. I'm nurturing those things by watering and continuing to get rid of the things that may be detrimental to my garden. Now I get to harvest. And it's a cycle. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. It is the cycle of the seasons. Going back to our Ignite question, it is the cycle of the seasons. I can't always be harvesting, just like I'm not always pruning. I'm not always prepping. I'm not always nurturing. I'm not always planting. It's seasons behind it. And they happen in different ways. Out here in California, I can do different things at different times from the people that are my family members that are in Ohio. They can't necessarily plant stuff in December and January. That ain't the way the weather's set up out there. All right, so being aware of these things, and again, I'm talking about this going back to you. Quick little video, and then we can bring it home, Megan, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you, in order to have something different, you are going to have to do something different. In order to have something more, you have to do something you haven't done yet. I had to say the things I didn't want to say, do the things I didn't feel like doing to have the life I know I wanted. Period. Period. And all I did was give instructions for here, do this bite size, do this bite size, do this bite size. Bite size, digestible, palatable pieces of what you can do. Does that sound good, you guys? And when you look up, and you don't have to have a magnificent change over 12 months, have a small change over 30 days, and then a small change over 30 days, your breakthrough will come in needlepoint moves. And you'll look up in 5 years and not recognize your life.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right, money moments. This is my phrase for key takeaways. Megan, I don't know how you want to do this. People can throw them into the chat. You can come up with some of your money moments, but key takeaways, something that resonated with you out of today's topic. How will you focus on improving a stretch area? That's my particular word. I don't use the word weakness. I don't believe in weaknesses. I believe in strengths and stretches. Stretches are areas where I get to continue to grow into. Or what do you need to start, stop, or do more of? Those are ways that we can talk through our money moments. Megan, you can start us off or talk us through how you want to do this as we wrap up.
Okay. I will take some in the group really quickly as we're wrapping up. I know it's 9:06. So if you guys want to throw some in there, I would love, to hear them. So if you guys can throw them in there, what resonated the most with you in today's topic, throw it in there for me. Jerome said, make small changes is his takeaway. Amani, same thing, small changes make huge differences. Tony, lovely presentation, love that. I'm getting a lot of that. Bite-sized pieces, connect with me, making baby steps, self-awareness, clearing the energy, resonated. That one probably simplified to silly. That is the one that resonated with me. Understanding, align with self, nothing wrong with being, go back, nothing wrong with being in your comfort zone. Great call. Pruning has to happen. Prune my garden, clear myself. I am a powerful source. Thank you guys so much. We're going to save this chat too. How will you focus on? Did you want to add anything, Jason?
Nope. Go ahead.
Okay. Simplify to silly. That is a new one. You and I have talked for 30 years. And a lot of things, they're probably like, I done heard that somewhere before because I've been learning from you so much. But simplify to silly is I can put that into action right away. So I'm excited about that one.
Yeah.
A second question that you had on there.
What's the stretch area for you? So out of this, something that you heard that you're like, that's gonna be a little tough for me to do. What's the stretch area for you?
Type that in there, guys. What's a stretch area? Somebody said thinktation instead of meditation. I love that actually.
Yep.
Connect. Let's see. Silence, Jerome said, is a stretch area. Can I do? Will I do? When will I do?
Yes.
Selfish.
So the answers to those, Coach Carlotta, can I do it? Yes. Will I do it? Yes. When will I do it? Now. And if the answer to one of those first two questions is no, come up with a new vision. Can I do it? No. Or can I do it? Yes. Will I do it? No. If the answer to one of those first two is no, come up with a new vision. I got to do something else because it makes no sense if I can't do it or I'm not willing to do it.
Perfect. Get rid of the dead branches so the tree can grow. Yeah. I never really thought about that, like pruning, but I really never thought about how if you don't prune, all of the energy kind of goes to the branches that might be dead or dying, and it allows the tree to blossom. I don't have a green thumb right now. My dad has this little bonsai tree. And when my dad had the bonsai tree, It's small. And every time I would go to his house, he's like, don't forget to water it. Don't forget. And it was so green, right? So that's one of the things that I had taken from my dad's apartment when we were clearing it out. And bonsai trees are very emotional. I didn't know that. So I'm trying to read about them because it's very sad right now. And I'm doing everything I can to like try to bring it back to life and give it energy, but I don't know how to take care of it. And my dad in this small, smoky apartment, it was so green. Every time I would be there, it would be so green. Um, so now I just don't know how to, I don't know how to get it to come back to life. So I
Use
got to learn.
YouTube as your best friend. Literally, type into YouTube, how do I take care of a bonsai tree?
Yeah, I'm going to.
I see. I think her name was Kiana, and I can't find it right now because things are coming in. I think we were talking about pruning, and I saw Kiana. Oh yeah, here it is. Kiana said that's my issue. I think she was talking about pruning. And here, Kiana, simply a word challenge. I told you that you would hear this. Here's a word challenge. As I'm looking at what you typed, that's my issue. If you're looking at it as an issue, I got a young lady, our student manager. She's right here next to me. She's been listening to this whole thing. That's my issue. If I'm looking at it like an issue, that's exactly how you approach it. So that's it. That's why if I go back 2 slides to stretch, it's why I don't use the word weakness. So Kiana, potential word challenge for you is that's my challenge, or that's something I want to get better at. Talk yourself into what you want rather than saying it's an issue. That's just my 2 cents. If you want to use the word issue, that's great. But for me, it was a big shift when I stopped using words like issues and problems and started using the word challenge. I like a good challenge. I'm cool with a good challenge. It's okay, cool. That's a challenge. And let me approach that differently. So just something that I saw in there. Megan, I'm gonna throw this up just because I won't. I'll forget any other way. Please connect with me, and I'm really intentional on how I say this. I know we live in this world of social media with likes and followers, and specifically with followers. If you choose to connect with me, I don't want you to follow me. I want you to lead with me. I don't want followers. I want leaders. I want leaders. And so there's multiple ways. We are literally revamping the website as we go, rebranding everything to Athlete's Purpose. So if you go to the website, it'll look a little bit different. Actually, that was not even up there. So it's Jason's Playground. So I even need to update that. If you go to the website, it's jasonsplayground.com. But again, we're revamping that. But yeah, you're stuck with me now. Everybody in here, you're stuck with me. You don't even know it yet.
I love it. You know what? Thank you. I so appreciate you guys. I am going to. I always like to do this because I'm a big energy person, and from teaching for so long, I needed to feel the energy. Guys, unmute really quickly and give some really quick love.
Awesome, Jason.
Love, love,
Thank you, Mr. Good man. Appreciate
love.
the
This is
presentation.
Coming
the
on.
That was
Thank you
awesome.
for the
Good crowd.
information.
Great call.
Amazing.
Thank you,
For
Jason.
making it possible.
Wonderful training.
Good job.
Jason.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, Jason.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother Jason.
And for
I'm forever. Listen, guys, I told you, I am who I am based on the connections and the relationships that I've nurtured, right, Jason? That I've nurtured these relationships, and sometimes people don't stay friends for long periods of time, and it has to be mutualistic. And I tell you all the time how much you've given to me, and I give myself credit as well for aligning myself with your education and your knowledge. And I just want to say thank you. And I know that people are going to grow taller than you, if possible, right? If you can be 6'8", right? This is what you're going to be able to experience, guys. Just put one word in the chat for me really quickly on how you feel right now about Jason being inside the vault and you having access to him every single month. And Jason, I'm going to put you on the spot real quick. How do you feel about this new experience? You've been in a lot of experiences, and you've been on TED Talk. I used to tell Jason he was a walking TED Talk, and then boom, manifestation. He's on TED Talk doing his thing. But what are you maybe? How do you feel, or what are you most looking forward to in this space of vibe, connecting with our thousands of people on a monthly basis? Oh, you're muted.
This is where it gets awesome for me because I literally get to go back to my roots. So you've heard me say them, but I didn't necessarily refer to them as that. So my roots are peace, love, and joy. That is me in a nutshell. That is who I am and how I want to show up. And so with that, this is what me and our, I'm gonna just call her by her names. It's all good. Millie is her name. This is what we were talking about earlier, and for almost an hour. You got here at 3, right? So we were talking about this 2 hours before we even jumped on this call. Is me showing up in peace, love, and joy creates a space to where I get to be that. If I want peace, love, and joy, then I get to be peace, love, and joy. My come from place is peace, love, and joy. And so, as cliche as this may sound, that's what I feel. I feel peace, love, and joy. To sit there and listen to all of those different wonderful voices say thank you, tell me how awesome it is, as I'm literally saying this right now, to keep looking at the words of enlightened and fruit of the spirit and encouraged and determined and amazing and peace. And, like, that's what I feel. And I feel that because I start with that, I'm rooted in that, and I am a firm believer that because I'm rooted in that, that's what I attract. And because I'm authentically showing up in that, I feel like for me, and you've heard me say this before, Megan, authenticity is either appealing or appalling. Like, we use this buzzword of authenticity. When I think about authenticity and the people that I would consider to be authentic, they are either appealing and people love to be around them, or they're appalling. I don't want to be no part of this person. But it's all based on that person's authenticity. And so for me, showing up in peace, love, and joy as my authentic version, I also create a space for people to say, you know what, I'm cool on that. I don't want peace, love, and joy, and I'll move accordingly. Dr. King was a perfect example. His vision was so clear. I got this vision of little black boys and little white boys going to school together and playing together. And his vision was so clear that it even created clarity for the people who didn't rock with it. You know what? I see your vision and I don't want that. I'm cool. But it all stemmed from him and his authenticity and who he showed up as. And so, again, long extended answer, but I feel peace, love, and joy because that's what I give off.
I love it. I appreciate you so much. I know we have another call that we were supposed to be on, but I
My
could not
bad.
break. No, it's okay. No. You but Z is like, you guys keep going, right? Our director of education, we had another meeting, but I knew how powerful this would be for the people because it's literally this has changed my life. Our connection, our relationship has literally changed my life and allowed me to get aligned with who I am and realize I can't be anybody else. I have to be my authentic self and I have to be okay with that. I have to give myself grace um, and wake up every single day and be excited to do it all over again. Like you told me when I said I have to drive 10 hours from Arkansas to Ohio and you texted get to. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I get to drive. And it changed my whole perspective. And literally, I drove and I talked to Jerome for like 2 hours. Talked to Miss Denise for an hour. I talked to my mom. Then I talked to Latanya and Ebony and Phil for 4 hours on my stretch home. Got a ticket 20 minutes from my house. And Phil was like, you need a driver. Like, pay the ticket, move on. I'm like, you sound like if I would have said it to you, I was talking about you and your situation. I'm like, you're right. I got a ticket, move on.
It's all practice. It's all practice. It's all practice. Human things happen. Human things happen. It's all good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you so very much. Somebody was asking, did you used to roller skate? No?
Did I used to roller skate?
Yeah.
I'm 6'8". I ain't roller skating nothing. No, I ain't no.
Somebody was asking in here, and I'm like, roller skated at the roller dome. I'm like, I know he's done a
I
lot
run up
of
and down the
things.
basketball court. If it ain't running up and down the basketball court, it ain't happening for me. That's my exercise. I'll play a little bit of tennis.
That's about it. All right. Well, thank you so much. Guys, listen, Jason is inside the vault as a pro or a legend. You get to experience Jason. What's your class really quickly? What are you? I don't even know if we call it a class. You're in the personal development space, but you have other words for it too. What is it that you're going to be teaching before we get off of here? Um,
Yeah,
Somebody said motivation. That's not Jason's word. You'll never hear him say motivation.
yeah, not ever. It's literally that connection to ourselves, and so as we go through it, it is the vibe. The first part of it will be the journey of purpose, where we'll take a deep dive into the questions of uncovering that who, as we talk about the who, the why, the how, the what. The first part is the journey of uncovering who I am, and the uncovering is the years of the world telling you who you should be as a Black woman, who you should be as a 40-something-year-old Black woman, who you should be as a Black woman that lives in Ohio. It's uncovering the stuff that the world has told us we should be, and getting back to the gold, no pun intended, of who I am, who was I before the world started telling me who I should be. And so again, we'll go through that journey, and it's a journey of uncovering who we are, why we are, how we are, and again, once we get to what we are, that becomes irrelevant. So it's the journey of purpose through vibe.
I'm so excited. I feel like I say this all the time. I am probably more excited about our own product uh, than anybody because I know more. I know what's getting ready to happen. And I really want to grow, like spiritually, physically, mentally, all of that. So thank you so much for just blessing us with your, yeah. I know you make the big bucks and stuff. I told them I paid you though for my hour, didn't I? I'm like, if other people are gonna pay you $250 an hour, I'm gonna, until my money got funny for a minute, and I'm like, I grew so much in that 1 hour, but I paid them, guys. I didn't ask for the hookup. But over here, we charge $159 a month and $249 a month, and they get you and everything else.
No doubt. No doubt.
It's exciting. So thank you so much.
Just so you can get a little bit, and this is I'm really saying this for myself, and then I'm about to get off because I need to go. I did something talking about expanding my comfort zone. I expanded my comfort zone as recent as yesterday. Yesterday, I sent over a proposal to a young man who wants one-on-one coaching, and I told him that the invoice I sent over to him was a 5-digit invoice for 1 month, and that was extremely new to me to be in that space. And so I say that not to talk about the money part of it. I say it to talk about, again, just like it's always practice. It's always practice. It's always practice. I'm practicing expanding my comfort zone. I saw this thing, and then I'm really gonna shut up. It said that it was an old screenshot that I had from years ago, and it said, "My price is not based on your budget; it's based on my value."
Mm. Say it one more time so I can
My
write it
price
down.
is not based on your budget; it's based on my value, and my value is priceless. So whatever number we discuss, you actually still winning. So I don't have to feel uncomfortable about this number that we discussed, because I know across the board you're still winning, which is what I want you to do. I want you to win. I live in a win-win mentality. There is no such thing as there's no scarcity. We all win. I believe in a creator that says everybody can be abundant. Not everybody is going to have the same, but everybody's going to be abundant, which means if everybody's abundant, I don't have to live in a place of scarcity.
You are right. And now I got to go back to the drawing board on
on
this budget for you. I'm gonna have to rework my numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. Seriously. Love you so very much. I
Yes.
appreciate you. Millie, thank you for hanging out over there.
she shot up the deuce.
Good. Thank you guys for hanging out. Peace and blessings. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or same place, different time, 8 p.m. Eastern. See you later.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Megan. Thank you,
Yes,
Jason.
yes,
Awesome,
yes.
bro.
Much love. Much love. Megan, I'll talk to you.